Okay. Hi, everyone. For those who I haven't been able to meet yet, I'm so excited that you're coming into the program. My name is Kathleen Driscoll, and I am chair of Naslin Mann. I have been with the program since 2003. I was a teacher, classroom teacher for undergrads. I was their creative writing person at Spalding, and I was actually there before the MFA program came along, and Sina Jeter Naslin was my teacher at U of L. And so part of the reason that she came to Spalding is because I was there and we had some good conversations. And then Karen was at U of L too. And so we all kind of know each other. But Sina, the program director, the co-founder, she retired at the end of 2027. So I've moved up into the program director's position. And then after that, I added a couple of programs. I added the certificates and I added the MA in writing, and I'm happy to answering those questions that you might have about that. But then we became a school, and then we became Naslin Mann when we had an alumni give us a legacy gift of well over $1 million. And one of the things that she was able to do with that was to name the school. And so she was extremely kind and generous and named it after our two co-founders instead of herself or a member of her family or something. So I'm very excited. We added the summer virtual residency last year, but we've had experience with this during COVID. And we actually decided to kind of get the virtual residency up and on its legs because our students wanted to have the flexibility of coming to campus or coming to a virtual residency and sort of doing the residency in your pajamas, I keep saying. But anyway, so we had done this during COVID, as I said, and so we found out that we could do a pretty good job of it. So is it the same as coming to residency in person? No. But does it make this accessible? And is it, I wouldn't say it's the same experience, but it's an equivalent experience. So we try to give you everything in some way that we're giving the students who are on campus as well. And for some people, this is the only way that they can manage to come is through the virtual realm. And then the other thing, though, is that you guys can mix and match if you want to. So next year, if you want to come back and you want to do the in-person on campus, you can do that. You can still take that long semester, or you can take a short semester, whatever you want. With the summer residency, the virtual residency, because of its timing, the only schedule that we can put you on is the long schedule. So you all will finish your coursework probably in the middle of February. I don't have the date right in my head, but you'll do the same amount of coursework, the 5 packets and all, you know that, but it's just spread out over a longer period of time. And we have about a third of our students who like to do that. So what I want to do right now is I want to go in and share and just go through the syllabus with you. So just to show you, I'm sure you know about this, but when you get your spalding.edu email address, that gives you access to the portal, and this is it. So this may be where you're landing. And then I'm going to go into Canvas. I always think that looks like the COVID virus for some reason. I guess I'm just haunted by that period in my life. But I'm going to click into Canvas now, and that takes you to our particular place. And this is my dashboard. Your dashboard will look a little different because I have things that I do, like I'm a member of the faculty senate and all. But I'm going to go into residency here, and then I'm going to go down here to summer, and all your information for summer residency will be here. Let me go up a little bit and show you. Here's for spring, and here's for summer. And then here are your syllabi right here. So I'm just going to go through and kind of talk about the syllabus. And if you guys have questions, please unmute yourself and ask. Don't worry about interrupting me. I want to be helpful to you. And so I want you to get your questions answered. Okay. And then, or you can put it in the chat, except sometimes I forget the chat's there. So I'll just tell you that right now. Okay. So you all are all registered for the intro residency in creative writing. It's the exact same course. It has different course numbers for you all. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. The same course intro, it has a different schedule for you all. So your virtual residency is from Saturday to Saturday, June 21st to June 28th. But you all know that I always say, or you'll learn that I always say that the residency course is not just the residency. So there's a good deal of preparation that we ask you to do to be ready for residency. You know that, for instance, we want you to work on your worksheets, and we'll send you lecture descriptions and I'll go through that as well. But there's no way that we could offer you this course in a week and give you 3 credit hours with any integrity, unless we had you do this other coursework too. So you all have probably seen this already. These are just sort of handy, quick listings for you all to email any of us, so they'll be convenient for you. My advice is for you to download this syllabus. It's easy to do. You can download that and put it on your desktop, and then you'll be able to look at it when you need to. So also there's the financial aid counselor here. She is the director of financial aid at Spalding, and she is so she's the kind of the top banana, but she's the one who handles the MFA and the MA and the grad certificate financial aid if you need it for us, because it's rather complicated. We're on a different schedule. If you have something that you want to email to post on Facebook, something that you're doing, that you want the whole group to know about, or just whatever, you can email here and let us know. And we're always glad to share your information. That's one of the things that we want to do for you. So here, this takes you to the website. This takes you to the main web of Spalding University. And this is where you'll find the university catalog. You also have the handbook here. My advice again, the handbook is always kept up to date. We might add a few little things to it, but you need to make sure you're in the right year for the handbook. So here you'll see I've clicked in, and so it's 24 to 25, and that's the latest version. Okay, so you'll always be in the know there. Oops, skills back. So here's your course description. I'm not going to go through this. You all can read this on your own. Course objectives. We have everyone in academia has to have objectives that we want you to attain or in their program. For you all new students, there are a few things that you all need to do that other people don't have to do. You just have to do them in this first residency. So one of the things is we want you to be ready to do the short craft essays. And so you will be having a session with Linnell during residency. You'll see it in your schedule. During residency, you do not need to write anything for this. You just need to read and be thinking about something. That's a question that new students always have. Should I have an essay written for this? No, that's not what she's going to ask you to do. She's just going to talk about things. So you should be able to find that in the new student information on the home card in Canvas. So other things, this is the new student orientation for residency that we're having right now. The orientation for independent study, I hope you've already seen it, because you should be in the investigatory period of trying to decide who is going to be your mentor or who you want to ask for. And so the independent study course, although your coursework proper doesn't really start till after the residency, to get a mentor, and the mentor process is outlined in that introductory in your independent study orientation. So those are recorded for you, and they're on Canvas for you. And then there's a little quiz that should take you about 2 minutes. It's just sort of to show us that you've done it. And we ask questions about the things that students are most confused about in our experience. And so we thought that might be a way to sort of clear things up for you. They're not graded. They show you the answers right away, so you don't need to worry about that, but you do need to click into the quiz and do it. And then we will welcome you on the first day of residency. We'll have a little welcoming session for all the new students. There are about 10 or 11 of you, so we're very happy with that number. It's not too many, not too few, but we'll have other students joining us and alumni joining us for the virtual residency. They'll be in your lectures and your workshops and all, and so it feels like it's going to be a pretty robust group for you in your first residency experience and virtual experience. So other things you need to do, you've probably already done, which is, fill out any sort of registration form that you need to fill out. There are things that we call yellow, green, and blue sheets for you, and those are posted on Canvas. They're just help me sheets. that give you information that we're trying to put it in one spot so it'll be clearer for you. So the yellow sheets talk about what you need to do before you come to residency. So everything's listed, all the things you need to submit, when you need to submit them, etc. What you need to read to prepare. The green and blue sheets. The green sheets have practical information. They're probably not going to have you won't need them because you're not coming to residency. You're not going to be stepping foot on Spalding's campus this time. But the blue sheets have curricular information, and they talk to you about what you need to attend, how many lectures you need to attend, how many lectures you need to write up, which lectures you need to go to, how workshop runs and all that. So they're just meant to be help me sheets. And if you are confused by them, you need to ask questions about them, just drop me an email. I'm happy to explain to you anything. So we've gotten you all registered. We're not going to take any more students. We've sort of rushed some students through at the end, some applicants through at the end because they really wanted to come, and we're happy that we were able to accommodate them. So you all probably already know, but there's a recorded lecture for you if you weren't registered by April 13th. And that's a lecture, we call it the pre-lecture, and it's one of the cross-genre sessions that we have for you, and it happens before residency. And it's meant to help you all read the book in common or the script in common, depending on the circumstances, more thoroughly. So Leah Henderson, who's a fantastic teacher and is on our faculty, obviously, she did the pre-lecture about children's lit, which I think was really fascinating, talking about the conventions of that genre and publishing in that genre. I'm going to do a picture book lecture during the residency, and we're all going to write a picture book together and share those. And that's also part of the cross genre. And some of the stuff that Leah was talking about or is talking about in the recorded lecture should be helpful to you as well. So that you all have a later date to get that done. I don't know what the date is, to tell you the truth. I don't know that it's on here, but I can get that to you, and you probably already know it because it's been sent to you. So worksheets are due from you all on May the 7th. One of the reasons I want to do this orientation for you on this particular time is because I want you to have time to ask me questions about worksheets before you turn them in, because I find that new students often do. And I will stop talking in a few minutes, and I'll come back on screen, and then I will let you ask questions, okay? And then I'll go on after that. On May 28th, you will get your workshop booklets back. They'll come by email, and I'll have the worksheets of everyone who's in your workshop, your regular traditional workshop. I'll talk more about workshop formats in a minute. But there's no more than 6 of you in a workshop. That's the time that we have. And so there are about 6 of you in each workshop. So we're full up in that way. And you will get those workshop booklets back. They'll have your writing in it and the writing of your 4 or 5 peers in the group. There'll be some front matter that the workshop leader will discuss with you in your first session when you're at residency. Okay, but those are the things that you really want to make sure that you are spending a good deal of time looking at. So when they come back to you on the 28th, my advice to you is to have most of your major reading done. So the book in common, which is Nina LaCour's Watch Over Me, that's been posted for a while. She's going to visit the virtual residency with us and do a Q&A after she presents, talk about her work. Your faculty book in common or your faculty script in common, if you're going to read those, there will be a session on Sunday. If you want to join in on those, it'll be posted on the Thursday memo that you are welcome. I know that for some of you, you come in a little late, so you may not have time to read the whole book before the discussion, but you don't have to go to that if you don't want to. We're going to do a better job next year of working those faculty book and script and common discussions at a time where we can bring everybody together. I love the idea of bringing the virtual students together with the students who are coming in to campus for residency as well. I want you all to see each other. I want you all to know each other, at least to know a little bit about each other. So that will happen as well. And then on June 1st, from 2 to 3, you all are going to have an intro meeting for your workshop. So you'll meet your workshop leader then, if you haven't met them already. and your workshop leader is not necessarily your mentor. Might be, but probably isn't going to be. And your workshop leader will talk to you about how he or she or they want you to prepare for the discussion, the critiques that are going to happen. Each student in residency gets 1 hour of discussion on their work. So there are 6.5, 7 hours, 8 hours of workshop. One's for the intro, and then you'll have the 6 critiques, an hour for each, and then you'll have what's called the revision workshop, where we ask you to revise a page or so of your worksheet, given what you've heard from your peers and from the workshop leader. Now, that doesn't mean, and your workshop leader will talk more about this on June 1st, but that doesn't mean that you're going to follow everyone's advice. You're not going to listen to what everyone tells you, because you're going to learn who are your best readers, and you have an idea of what you're trying to accomplish too. So it's not about failing or succeeding at this assignment necessarily. To succeed at this assignment, you don't have to take all the advice from everyone that's in your workshop. Okay, you might luck out. I mean, there's 6 people, and maybe they'll each tell you something that's wonderful, and you're like, oh, great, but not necessarily so. Okay. So in a few weeks, we'll be posting the lecture descriptions on the residency, this summer virtual residency page in Canvas. And that will tell you all the lectures that are going to happen for you in each of the areas, plus the plenary lectures and all. And if there's any suggested reading for those, or required reading, if there is required reading, there won't be a whole lot, because the residency is taught collaboratively. And so we want to make sure that one faculty member doesn't give you 100 pages to read, and the next one gives you 100 pages and 100 pages. So we've asked them to limit the pre-reading for you so that you won't be overwhelmed with that. But that'll happen about 4 or 5 weeks before residency. You'll see that. And then I also want to tell you that the residency curriculum and event schedule, which tells you every day what you're going to do, and it'll have all your links that you just, hot links that you just click into, then that comes out the week. It never comes out any earlier than this, even though students want it. It comes out the week before, the Monday before residency starts. So Monday, June 16th, you can mark that on your calendar, and we will be telling you that we're posting that. So I'm going to stop sharing here for a second, and then I want to know if you all have questions. Anybody have questions right now?
I got a question.
Yeah.
For the, let's see here. This is like 150 words for each worksheet? Is that for like per poem or per story, or is that just for like the all 5 poems that they submitted?
If you're looking at a worksheet, Drew, and you have 5 poems, then you need to write the summary comments about the body of the work. And so someone else so you'll be returning about 150 words in summary to the person you're critiquing, right? If you're in a prose workshop or you're in a script workshop and you are you're working in a shorter form or maybe a hybrid form, so maybe you have 3 flash pieces, then you would do the same. You would write one summary for the entire worksheet. So you'll have to do that 6 times.
Okay.
So, okay, does that answer you? I know it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. And it's really good to, on the worksheet, and your workshop leader will talk to you about this too, but it's really good to sort of write these before you come, because you're going to be really, really busy, or before you sit behind your computer, I guess, at virtual residency. But that doesn't mean you can't change things before you hand them back. Okay, so it might be that you feel really strongly about something, and then you hear the discussion, and you're like, oh, maybe I was wrong about that, or maybe I don't need to talk about that so much because I think that might be confusing or whatever. Then you can back that out and refresh your comments a little bit if you need to. But just to save your own sanity, try to do as much as you can beforehand. And you all can make margin comments if you want. That's fine. Sometimes Crystal Wilkinson, who used to teach for us, used to call them love notes. So That's fine. That we don't we owe each other the truth. So we're a program that really insists on constructive criticism, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to tell each other the truth. We're just asking you to find a way to say it that's not cruel. Having been in other workshops where people are cruel, so that it can be received, and not only received by the workshop, the person, the author of the worksheet, but also the rest of the group too, because they're all going to be listening as well. So, the great thing about workshop, and I know most of you have probably been in workshop, is that you learn not just from what your faculty leader says, and if your worksheet's up, you learn not just from the comments you're getting, but the whole conversation is a really rich broth for you all to be nourished by. Okay, any other questions before I go back and entertain you with this scintillating talk that I'm giving you? Okay. All right, I'm going to go back then. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about how residency is going to work. Okay. So we decided when we put together summer residency that it's not the easiest thing to sit day after day after day after day and expect the same thing. So I like for all the residencies to have their own flavor. I mean, you're going to get the same stuff, but I want them to have their own flavor. So for this residency, we're going to be putting you all in workshops, traditional workshops that I was just talking about, where you're going to look at your worksheets. And so can you all see this now? The little grid I have here, the little table? Everybody somebody unmute and just say, yeah, I see it. Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so I just want to let you know what's happening here. So on Sunday, because we'll get together on Saturday, we'll have a community hall meeting, which is talking about the book in common on kicks us off, right? And then Sunday, your genre workshop will start. So Drew, you'll be in a poetry workshop. And Jennifer, what is your area? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Creative nonfiction.
Great. So you'll be in a CNF workshop or a prose workshop there. Okay. Other people will be in writing for children workshops. Right. And so it'll be the traditional experience that, if you come to residency on campus, you would have. But that's why we want to limit this to 6. There's 6 slots here. And then, so you go to workshop for 2 hours every day. You'll do other stuff as well. You'll be in lectures, you'll hear readings. We'll do other things that I'll talk about as well. Plenary lectures will be available to you as well. And so, but in your workshop, you'll be going for 2 hours a day. There'll be a little break in between. And so the first workshop, as I was saying, you'll do your intro and you'll talk about the front matter. So you'll need to read that when you get it in your booklet on the 28th of May. And then you'll start your regular sessions. And then on the June the 25th in the morning hours, you will have a revision workshop, which is shorter. It'll be about an hour. And that's where you'll share that revised piece of work that I was talking about earlier. Then on Wednesday afternoon, you're going to go into a generative workshop that does not ask you to bring any kind of writing into it. All the writing you'll be doing will be happening in real time through your synchronous sessions. Okay, so the same thing will happen. There'll be maybe 6, maybe a few more in that generative workshop, 8 or so in the generative. So you'll do it on Wednesday 2 hours, Thursday on 2 hours, Friday on 2 hours, and then on Saturday morning we'll have the revision workshop, which is again an hour or so, and you will share. You'll revise your piece of writing and share that. It's a really good experience. One of the great things is that it launches you out of the workshop and gets you really excited and ready to begin the packet work there. So we've been doing this for a long time, and we found that students really respond to this, and they really come out instead of exhausted by the week, which it can be tiring, I'll be truthful. You'll be excited to get to the page to start that packet, which will be due a few weeks after residency as well. So I wanted to show you that, but I also want to show you I'll show you in a second because I'll have to go back here, but I want to show you all the Okay. I'll show it to you in a minute. There are 5 workshops, generative workshops. They're going to come out to you. You should have them listed in the email that I sent to you for the meeting today. And it was attached to that. And there are 5 workshops, and you all are going to be asked on Monday, this Monday. So look in your email for this to sign up for one of them. And so it may be that you'll want to decide, I have a first choice, a second choice, and a third choice, because you may not get your first choice, right? Just depending when you sign up. We want to release it on Monday for you all, so that everybody gets to see it at the same time or can expect it at the same time. They're just like any other kind of registration that a university would do for you. Okay, so I'll go over those in a minute so you see them, but I just want you to know that's another reason I wanted to have this orientation, because I want you to know and not be caught off guard by this. So Molly Peacock is doing a generative workshop. Molly Peacock, I don't know if you all know. Drew, you probably know her. I mean, she has a huge national reputation and used to teach for us until she retired, and we've lured her back to do this, but she'll be a really great nonfiction writer and a really great a poet. So you can work in both areas. I've asked the workshop leaders of special topics to make cross-genre workshops for you all. So it could be that you'll have poets in that one and writers of memoir or lyric essays or whatever. So, but all of it will be useful to you, and you'll learn from the other people in there as well. I know that Roy Hoffman is doing an essay workshop on contemporary essays, how to write the contemporary essay. Roy has a lot of books that he's published, but he also was a reporter in his younger days for the New York Times. So he has a lot of experience writing op-eds and things like that, that you may, or personal essays that are more topical. So you may or may not be interested in that. Sam Zaletsky is a screenwriter, and he's going to talk about the scene. I find that many new students, and even those students who are in the second semester or whatever, may struggle with scene writing. And there's nothing that will show you how to write a scene more than learning from a screenwriter. And so it's not just about screenwriting. He's talking about developing scenes for everyone. But he has a lot of great information for you on that. So it's going to be wonderful. And then Charlie Schulman is going to talk about kind of the whole project. You know, if you're working on a novel or a short story or a long play or a picture book or whatever, you know, beginning, middle, and end. He's a screenwriter and a playwright too. And so he has a great sort of notion of structure that can be helpful, not just in his genre, but for all of you all working in novels, or even putting together a collection of poems or a chapbook of poems. I think that that could be helpful to you. And I'm forgetting someone, but I'll come back to that as well. So just be thinking about that, be aware of it, and know that Monday morning you need to respond to that. So every residency is built around a cross-genre area. We rotate those. They're all the areas that we teach. We rotate them through the residency. So writing for children is going to happen in the summer virtual, and it also is happening in the spring. My intent is to keep the curriculum of spring and summer on the same cross-genre area, so you all don't lose track if you go in and out of different kinds of residencies. So I want you to get that experience and not miss out on it. So a lot of the things that we're doing in spring, we're also doing in summer. A lot of the lectures will be the same, you know, except they'll be presented to you online rather than in a classroom in person there. So the book in common is, as I said, Nina LaCour's Watch Over Me, which I really think is a very beautiful novel for young adults. I'll give a cross genre. As I said, it's going to be in picture books. It's always been a lot of fun in the past, and I think you can learn a lot about writing succinctly picture book. Plus, it just sort of opens up the world to know what picture book writers do. They have to think on a lot of different levels. You'll have that cross-genre assignment will be due by the end of the residency, and we'll share those together and have conversation about that. It'll just be a page. It won't be very long. I mean, you don't have a lot of time to write and do homework, right? And then the distinguished visiting writers, I said, will come and we'll do a little bit of a follow-up with her. You'll have time to ask her questions in real time as well. She'll be there. And then we also have as part of our cross genre. We started this a few years ago. We ask our alums in that area, so it's writing for children right now and young adults, to pitch a proposal for the Distinguished MFA Alumni Lecture. And they come and give a lecture in their area. And so far, they've been fantastic. So Liz Wilkes is going to give one. She's given it in the spring, and she'll give it for you all too, on Alice in Wonderland and all the spin-offs, the wonderful spin-offs from Alice in Wonderland that we know about. It's going to be really interesting, I think. We're excited about it. We had lots of good things to choose from, and she kind of rose to the top of wonderful topics anyway. So at Residency, you will be offered lectures by faculty, sometimes guests, and sometimes graduating students. I have to tell you, there's no graduating student in the summer virtual. Last semester there was one, and there's not. So you all won't be going through graduation. But in the future, if you decide to keep coming to virtual residency, which you're perfectly welcome to do, then we will have a graduation ceremony, and we'll either do that on Friday night or Saturday morning with us. And so they're kind of special. We learned to let a family member, sometimes people's kids, hood them. We send you your MFA hood or your MA hood and your family, and there are a lot of tears, even though it's online. It's kind of or virtual. It's kind of amazing, actually. But you will be having lots of faculty lectures and plenary lectures, and you need to report on them through evaluations. You don't need to do that during residency. We give you a couple days to clean up that work. But if I were you, I would take really, really good notes. And if I were you, I would try to, in the evening after you got through with everything, even though you're exhausted and you want to have dinner or whatever, I would try to write up in a Word document a kind of summary. And there are prompts for those. You will be getting a link that will drop into your spalding.edu email box, and it's evaluation kit. It's watermark. You click through that link, you're going to see a ton of different listings for lectures. You don't have to report on all those, but we don't know which ones you're going to go to. So you're going to definitely report on the lead lecture. We call that the lead lecture is a topic that the faculty in each genre decide is important, and they want to make sure that you get some curriculum in that. So this time, it's writing scenes is one of the things. Developing scenes is many of the genres are doing that. And then you have that lecture for an hour, and then the next hour you are given prompts by the faculty leader, and you sort of exercise that and do writing and share that writing, because I want you to have that kind of muscle memory from the experience. Believe me, at the end of the week, you're going to be wondering, like, what did I do on Monday? What did I do on Sunday? I don't remember. So I want you to have that experience and sort of reinforce it and kind of etch it into your writing practice, so you'll be able to recall it better later. You'll need to attend another lecture in your area. So Drew's a poet, he'll go to a poetry lecture. Jennifer's in CNF, she'll go to a CNF lecture. And then you'll write up a little report on those, and it's about 100 words or so. And then you'll need to go to 2 lectures out of your area, because we think cross-genre is extremely important for you all, for your writing practices, and to learn new things through the lens of another cross-genre area. So it's not, and we're not necessarily thinking that you are a CNF writer and you're going to write poetry, but we are later on, but we are thinking that you're a CNF writer and you can learn things from poetry, right? About details and imagery and all. And so maybe you're a screenwriter, you can also learn things from poetry. Maybe you're a poetry student, you can learn things from screenwriting. I mean, in some ways, they have a lot in common, because they're dealing with images and metaphor and all. So you'll go to 2 of those, and you'll find these written down for you. But they're in the blue sheets too, but I want to go over them, and I want you to remember that if you're forgetting, like, how many lectures was I supposed to do, then you can come back to your syllabus and you'll have clarity on that. We'll ask you to do a reading report on 1 faculty reading. We do 3 or 4 or 5 faculty read usually in the evenings, 10 minutes each, different genres. They're really fun. They move very quickly, and they're exciting because you're not seeing just one person read one particular genre. So another way that we expose you to cross genre. You'll need to do a workshop evaluation. again, that will drop in. You don't, your workshop evaluation will come back to you from your faculty leader, and it'll be about your performance in the workshop. Okay, it's not about your worksheet, because you'll be getting notes back from your faculty leader. You'll be benefiting from discussion, the comments, the notes, the summary that your faculty leader will give back to you. So this evaluation is, how well did you participate? And it's really, we're not out to punish you. We want to help you. So one of the things that you might find in there is that, so-and-so was great in workshop. I wish that they had spoken up a little bit more, or, I wish that they had used terminology, but it's still new. Everything's still new. So just try to soak it all in. Okay, just try to soak it all in. Then we have an evaluation where you just give us quick number evaluation to things like plenaries. We don't ask you to respond to those in lecture reports. And then discursive, we ask you questions about things. We just want to know what you're thinking. And Linnell and I read every single thing that you all write. After residency, we kind of sit down in our pajamas and just read everything. And so if there's something you want us to know, or something you think we can do better, please let us know. We've made many changes over the years. Now, I will say that we're the experts. So there may be things that you're suggesting that we tried before, or we, for some reason or another, we won't work, but I want to hear your feedback, and we read everything. So as I say, we have changed. This whole virtual residency came about because we got the feedback from students that this is what they thought would be helpful to them in terms of flexibility and access. You'll do an anonymous evaluation, and that'll be just about your experience during workshop. What I should say to you is we found out recently that it's not anonymous, it's confidential. So if we wanted to dig and spend enough time, we could find out who wrote what. It's possible for us to do that. I don't think we've ever done it. But I just want you to know that it's possible for us to identify you through that. I just think that's fair for you to know. And then you all won't have to do any graduation reports, although unless we make them available to you online. There are some students who are doing online graduation lectures. We give them the option to do it in person or online. Same option will be available to you. And if we have recorded, we might ask you all to evaluate those. We just don't know yet who's going to be pitching those recorded evaluations. And it's good for you all to see. They're full of great content anyway, and they're exciting because they're by your peers, and you can see, I'm going to know that, I'm going to do that at the end. But you also want to see models of what you're going to be expected to do, particularly if you're in the MFA program as well. So those are the reports. We will have reading slots for you all, student readings as well as faculty readings. I really encourage you all to do that. There are 5 minutes. There's a timer. Probably one of the PGRAs who is an alum who comes back to help us. So it's postgraduate residency assistant, and you're welcome to ask to do that too when you finish your coursework and get your degrees. But they will monitor those. It's really good for you all, especially if you don't have a lot of experience reading. But it's good. It's a good community builder for everyone. So I really want to encourage you, new students, even though it might be hard for you and it might make you nervous, and I really want you to hop up, and you don't have to read the whole 5 minutes. You can hop up and read a poem. You can hop up and read for 2 minutes, whatever you want, but 5 minutes is the limit there. So please try to do that. And then the interrelatedness of the arts event. We always try to do something on campus in the spring and the fall. And in the spring, we generally go to Shakespeare in the Park, which is about a couple blocks down from campus, and we attend the the Shakespeare play, that Kentucky Shakespeare, which is the oldest, I should say, or the longest running Shakespearean festival that does plays outside in the country. So it's almost 70 years old or something like that, and they are great. We've seen Midsummer Night's Dream. We've seen I think that was last time. We're going to see Much Ado About Nothing this time. So to keep you all in step, I want you all, and I'll publish this for you all. This is information that hasn't really gone out there yet, but I want you all. We're all going to watch, so it'll be like a time one evening from 5:30 to 7 or something. We're all going to watch together on our own, if that makes sense. Much Ado About Nothing, the Emma Thompson and Kevin Brownell performance, which is fantastic. And then after that, the faculty will lead a talk back, and then that will be your activity for the night. So I love the idea that you all will be able to have the experience of viewing 5 Shakespeare, if you're in the MFA program, viewing 5 Shakespearean plays and having a chance to have conversation about it at the end. I think that's a really rich foundation. Some of you all may have that already. I sure didn't have it when I went through my MFA program. And so I'm playing catch up, the whole time. So I love that. And it's been very enriching for everyone. So just some writing policies here, and then I'll shut up and let you all ask questions again. We just ask you to meet all your deadlines and requirements. That said, you all are adults, things happen. And if you need an extension, you need to ask Linnell first. If Linnell's not around, feel free to get a hold of me, and then she will advise you on how to get that extension, right? I mean, we've had residencies before where people got sick the last 2 days of residency. And so we're not going to let you all lose your investment of time and energy and resources, riches for that. So we're going to figure out a way to help you with that. But that's only in a crisis. So you are reading the syllabus, you know that. Thursday memo is something that you all want to keep up with, please. All right. You all know about the technology requirements because you're on here now. If you need to drop add the residency course, you can drop before the 3rd day of residency. After that, you have to withdraw. There is a slide for you all on how much tuition reimbursement you'll get. So it goes down, of course, the further you are into residency if you have to withdraw, but most people don't have to withdraw. It's a very rare thing for that to happen. And yet we want to have the provision for that as well. Here's a tuition fund policy here. That's just general for everyone as well. And so let me just tell you, if you listen to the independent study orientation that I give, if you've already listened to that, good. If you haven't, go ahead and try to do that. But we grade on a pass-fail basis here. And that's pretty common for fine arts, particularly creative writing, but also most fine arts at the graduate level work on a pass-fail. And so you can figure that the award, which is the credit or the pass that we give, you get an AWD, if most people do, all right, which is what happens in graduate school. You only let people in that you think are going to be successful, right? And so we're prepared to give you all an award if you've done all the work for residency, and that'll be the same thing that will happen for you during the independent study as well. If something should happen and you disappear, you fail to do the work, whatever, we'll give you no credit, and that's a fail there. If you need an extension, not for residency, well, maybe for residency, like if you had to miss the last couple of days, we give you a little bit of time to finish up your work. But only in crisis, you all, only in crisis is that ever allowed. And we give you an eye and give you a chance, but even during an X is not applicable to the residency course we're talking about now, but I want you to know that if something should happen during the independent study, people get new jobs and have to move across the country, or something happens with their children, then they need to put all their focus on their children or whatever. We'll do our best to protect your tuition, and we'll give you an X, and that gives you a year to finish up that work. And that is available to you. And I don't ever want you to not ask for help if you need help. Okay. Be familiar with our mission statement. You need to know where you're coming to school. Spalding is in the Catholic tradition, but we welcome all faiths and those people with no faith. I'm a person who is kind of a stone cold atheist, and I've taught there for 30 years. So anyway, but we have people of all kinds of faiths, and we welcome them. So, and we also are what's called a social justice university, which means that we have an emphasis on service through the promotion of peace and justice as well. So I don't know that this is so different from what other universities practice, but it's in our mission statement, and our mission statement is unique. I know, looking at other schools. We're going to ask you to use your spalding.edu email address only when you get it. Okay, so hopefully most of you have that already. If something should happen and you get locked out or whatever, you can email us with your, I was starting to say AOL, sorry, with your Gmail or whatever you have addresses there. You all are free to use the library. They'll accommodate you. They're used to, virtual students there. There's technical support for you if you need it. If you get locked out of your email here, if you need accessibility services, I'm not allowed to arrange those for you. No one is in academe. You have to go and seek those out yourself, but here's where you would seek them. Okay. And then the writing center, the lab, the scholars, all those things are available to you. We have academic integrity and professional integrity, those kinds of policies all around that you would find at any school. So, all right, I'm going to stop sharing now. And I want to know if you all have questions. I knew you were a smart bunch. Instantly, you grasped all this complexity. Yay. Okay.
Is the much to do about nothing? You said it's in Louisville?
That in spring, we're all going to Central Park to watch it. But you all virtual students are going to watch Kenneth Brandau's version, and you can find it different ways. If you're on Amazon or whatever, you can find it there easily. There are other places you can find it too. It may cost you $3 or $3.99 or whatever, which is a lot cheaper than a textbook anyway. But I'll give you all some links for that, and I'll come on and I'll welcome you all to this cross-genre session during virtual residency. And then I'll say, now everybody go and watch the movie. And we'll be back at, I don't know how long it is. We'll be back in an hour and 15 minutes. We'll gather back again. Or I'll give you a little time to go to the restroom or your bathroom or whatever like that. Or grab a Coke or something stronger or whatever. And then we'll come back and all the faculty will do a talk back to it. Drew, when we watched last time, I know what it was. I was like, what the heck did we watch last year? We watched Romeo and Juliet. And so we saw it, if we were on campus, we saw it at Shakespeare in the Park. But we watched, and it was a great performance, but it was pretty, well, they did it kind of like Bridgerton. And so I don't know, I was kind of distracted by that. But we all watched the Leonardo DiCaprio and the Claire Danes version, and it was so exciting. And there was so much talk after we came back. And the faculty had so many things to say about it, and so did the students. And it turned out to be one of the very best sessions that we had. And so we didn't do a talk back when we were on campus. And so I'm like, yeah, we got to do that. We got to do a talk back there because it was so good in the virtual residency. So no, you don't have to come to Louisville to do that. We'll all do it together on film. So does that answer you, Drew?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
What else? Jennifer, you have any questions?
This has all been really helpful. I've printed the syllabus and looked over it and everything, but hearing you walk through it and talk about things, it just makes things start clicking. So it's really helpful. This might be something that I'm sure that the workshop leaders will go through, but on the one page with workshop where it talks about like the no laptop policy and everything, which obviously with virtual, like we're on the laptops for the workshop, but in terms of the comments on the worksheets, is this something I know it says like printing it out and making the comments that way. Are we then scanning them in to return? And how does that work for the virtual?
You could do whatever you want, whatever works for you. If you are a pretty confident scanner and you have that accessibility, you can do that if you want.
Okay.
Generally what people do is they put things in Word comment in the margins.
Okay.
And then they just type their summary comments in an email, or you can even put it on the worksheet itself because you'll be having an electronic copy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to want to give it back to the author of the piece. And you do ask those questions of your workshop leader, but that's generally what I like to have happen. And I would like you guys to return them pretty close to the critique, because it's deflating to go through a critique and then you wait for the comments and someone says, oh, I'll get those to you later, and then you have to wait and you might have to track them down, and it's not their responsibility to get them from you, it's your responsibility to get the comments to the leader. But yeah, you're right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, is that clear?
No, that
Yeah.
is. I was curious
I
about,
know.
like, I want to be mindful of the fact that, I mean, I like to print things anyway and comment, and I figured I would, but I want to be clear on the expectations. And again, I'm sure that they'll go over what they're expecting
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
particular workshop.
yeah. That workshop, the no laptop policy is new. Because the faculty at fall residency really felt like the screens were getting in the way of
Right.
conversation. But I'm right here in your face, so
Yeah, so I'm like, how does that work? Like, obviously, we're on the screens and virtual, so
right,
that's why I was just curious in terms of the comments. And I could also understand not wanting students making comments, typing on
right.
a document while workshop
Yeah,
conversation is happening. So,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a really passionate student body. You'll find this out, right? And so a lot of people have been wanting to do this forever, and they're not going to waste any time, and they're going to take full advantage of it. So I don't really have to police students like that. But once in a while, you get someone who, you can tell hadn't done their homework, and it's like I say, it's deflating.
Yeah.
And so I always say, and I'll probably say it at our first town meeting or whatever on the first night, is that the golden rule, you want to follow the golden rule of workshop, or golden rule of writing, is you want to treat other people's worksheets the way you want yours to be treated. And so but we don't really, like I say, once in a while I have somebody who's a bit of a slacker, but most people want this. So I have, mostly it's like trying to limit conversation so we can move on and get everybody covered, rather than trying to coax things out of people. But you all will be new too in workshop, and your leader will talk about this. So you don't need to be worried about speaking the technical language, because you're new, and this is one of the things you're going to learn here. And ask questions. I mean, please be brave. This is one of the places where you can be brave and you'll be supported. All right. So nothing stupid, right? And so Jennifer can say, hey, I don't understand that term. What does that mean? Please do that. It's your education. You need to advocate for yourself. We'll advocate for you as much as we can, but we're not going to be with you all the time. So, we really want you to have the dream MA or MFA when you come out of here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Beverly, do you have questions?
Yeah,
okay.
I did. Thank you.
Sure.
The generative workshop, June the 26th and 27th, they're all day sessions. Am I correct?
No, they're just 2 hours
No.
again.
So what would be then the format of the day if it's 2 hours?
Generally in the morning, we have faculty lectures, and sometimes we have plenaries. Now we're starting at 10:30. If you were here on campus, you'd be rolling out and being on campus no later than 9 and usually 8. Okay. But because we have students who are on the West Coast and we want to be kinder to them, we're starting at 10:30 every day. So they'll either be, I'll give plenaries, and I'll give 3 or so plenaries throughout, plus some follow-up sessions as well. Okay. And then there'll be faculty lectures, and those are those things that you want to choose from. And they're all an hour. Everything's an hour. Later on, there'll be things that you'll need to be attending, not in this first semester, but later on, you'll be in the second semester, you'll be attending small group discussions of students who are more upper class men. So in the fourth residency, we ask students to lead a small group discussion, and you all will be assigned to those. And it's a 40-minute discussion where you talk about some work that the student has presented to you and you want to discuss. There might be graduation lectures that are happening, not this time, but later on they'll be happening. There'll be readings. We'll have the arts event that we'll do. We'll have the special distinguished visiting writer come and do her session this time as well. So pretty much all day from 10:30 to early evening, you're going to be busy. Now on that Saturday, if I find out that I can cut that last Saturday. I don't really know until I have all the students in. I don't know how many slots I need to fill. Then I will let everybody go on Friday night, but I can't count on that. Okay, so you all need to be prepared to show up on Saturday, the last Saturday at 10:30 for your last revision workshop, and that'll close out the session. I'll say goodbye to you after that.
Okay.
But we don't have any graduating students this time, so I might be able to compress a little bit. Hey there, puppy.
Okay. He thinks he's a student.
Yes.
And then as a follow-up with that, I did not get the email that lists the generative workshops. So if you
Okay,
can send that to me.
I can. I sure can. The
Okay.
generative workshops, I'll send it to you all. I thought that I had tabbed it out for you all.
It was attached to, and Beverly, you might not have been on this email, but there was an attachment to the first email you sent, Kathleen, with the orientation information.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will send it. I'll
I
send it
don't think
back
I
out.
have it.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
But I'll send it to you right after. I'll just send it back to everybody. So y'all just ignore it if you don't need it. Okay. But I'm happy to do that. I think it's going to be really good. Students really love these sessions. So, and I wish I could think of who the person is I'm leaving out. I feel bad about that.
It's
Oh, you got it, Jennifer. You
yeah,
are coming
sorry,
in
I'm
handy.
like sorry. It's
No.
Leslie Newman. Leslie
Leslie Newman.
Thank you,
Right.
Leah.
Who
Yeah.
is the OG of writing for children, you know? So she rocked everybody's world. I don't know. I think it was in the 70s, maybe the early 80s. She published Heather Has Two Mommies, and just like she's the one of the most banned children's book writers in the country right now. So, but she's a wonderful teacher. She's not only taught our students, and our students have gone on to publish and do very well. She was Leah Henderson's mentor and helped Leah get that first book published. But she also let Kwame Dawes, who's extremely popular for kids, writer. So about basketball, boys, something, I don't know. So yeah, so I will send that to you. Other questions,
Okay.
Beverly?
So just so that I'm clear, the generative workshop starting at 10:30, it'll actually be encompassing a variety of activities, lectures, some type of gathering under that heading of a generative workshop throughout the day.
Yes, but it doesn't
schedule.
start at 10:30. It will start later in the afternoon.
Oh,
So
okay.
at 10:30, we'll have lectures and things like that, other goodies for you all.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Can you all hear my dog barking? Dang it. Sorry. Better than he's mad because he's not inside. Okay, Sarah, do you have questions?
No, that's not good. No, you can't. No, give that to mommy.
Okay, I'm gonna go then if you all don't have questions, but you all, I'm ordering you. I never order you to do anything, but I'm ordering you to email me if you think of other questions that you have, okay? And I will post this again because maybe some of you are gluttons and you want to go through it again. I don't know, but for the people who weren't here, we're very excited about you coming. I think it's going to be a wonderful time, and please let me know what we can do for you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
You guys are great.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll see you
you.
soon.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.